So today the topic of my presentation is Grid Connected Rooftop Solar Program. The program which has been implemented by the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy from year 2019. This is the phase 2 of the program. I will give presentation on phase 2. Earlier we had phase 1 of the program, which was started in year 2014. But that is now over. We are only doing the settlement part. That means financial closing of the projects for those. So as you are aware, the ministry has set a target of 175 gigawatt of renewable power, out of which 100 gigawatt has to be achieved through solar. And out of this 100 gigawatt, 40 gigawatt is to be achieved from the rooftop solar systems which are grid connected. So I want to mention this target is that 175 gigawatt of solar power is grid connected. 100 gigawatt of solar power is grid connected, and out of which 40 gigawatt is from grid connected rooftop. There is no off-grid systems or behind the meter systems that we are going to talk about in this session. So what is grid connected rooftop system? As you are already aware, basically it's a system which is installed on roof of any building or any overhead structure, and also in contiguous land within that premises. So basically it's a decentralized system which is connected to grid, which supplies power, and that power is used either by the consumer or it is directly fed to the grid. So there are lots of mechanisms through which that energy can be fed to the grid. One method is very simple, that you are producing solar power from your rooftop and you are simply feeding it to the grid. There is no changes in your metering structure. You are not using that power, and you are supplying that solar power at a feed-in tariff which has been decided by the regulatory commission of that state. Second one is net metering mechanism, or net billing mechanism, or virtual metering mechanism, or group metering mechanism. So there are different types of metering mechanism within the net metering, net billing, virtual metering, group metering. So what is this? The net metering is that you are installing solar rooftop power plant in your roof and you are using that power. The excess power which has been generated is being fed to the grid, and the billing is being adjusted based on the units export and units import. So that is the net metering. The tariff or the rate remains constant here in net metering. In net billing, that is similar way, the same phenomena. Only difference is that you are taking power at say commercial tariff or the residential tariff which you are paying to the electricity discoms, and you are selling that power at a different rate. So there is a change in rates for net billing. What is virtual metering? What is group metering? Virtual metering and group metering are two new concepts that has been introduced by the government of Delhi in its regulation. As I know, there is no such regulation in other states right now on virtual metering and group metering. This group metering is basically nothing. Suppose we have 5 customers, okay, and these 5 customers. Just wait. This group metering is basically. Suppose I'm a rich person and I'm having 5 houses at different locations within the same distribution company's jurisdiction area. Suppose I have house 1, house 2, house 3, house 4, house 5. So I want to install solar rooftop plants only in one house, okay, but I want to avail the credits of this exported energy to in other houses also. So that I can do with this net group metering approach. In virtual metering, it is little bit different. In virtual metering, there are suppose n number of customers who want to install solar rooftop plant in a single location and they want to avail the credits. So in group metering, it is one beneficiary, n number of houses or n number of connection, and in virtual metering, there are say n number of beneficiaries who wants to install solar rooftop plant in a single location and want to avail the credits of exported energy. So these are the things which are being at present is there in India. In addition, how the system could be installed. I have money, I can install the rooftop system by paying my own fund, or I don't have money. What I will do, I will sign one power purchase agreement with some third party. That third party will install the rooftop solar systems, and I will pay that system. I will pay rupees per kilowatt hour to that third party. I think that model is there in Tezpur University. Am I correct, sir?
This is the model, RESCO model.
Yes, RESCO model. So this RESCO model is very popular only in government sector buildings. Why? Because government usually don't default. They used to pay at time, or say after some time they used to pay. But in other sectors, suppose in residential, in commercial, in industrial, this model is right now not much popular. In these cases, capex model is being popular because the beneficiary used to invest, and also that the vendor who want to install the solar system also is happy because he is getting paid at the time of installation. Then what are the major components? All are aware. These are PV modules, inverters, mounting structure, balance of systems, cables, switchgears, junction boxes, etc. And one thing is meters. There are two types of meters, basically one solar generation meter and one net meter. The solar generation meter is being installed by the project developer to know the generation of the solar power plant, and another net meter is basically a meter installed by the distribution company, and that is sealed by the distribution company. No one can tamper that meter, and this will give you the total imported and exported energy details, which is being used for billing purpose. Now, why I want to install the solar rooftop plant? What is the benefits? There are some monetary benefits. There are some hidden benefits. Monetary benefits is very simple. At present, the rooftop cost is getting lowered. It is around, in various tenders, we have found that cost of rooftop systems is in between 32,000 per kilowatt to 42,000 per kilowatt. That means it's very cheap at present, and we are also providing subsidy for the residential sector. And that subsidy is, I will describe it on my next slide. That subsidy basically helps to achieve the lower payback period. The payback period is around 3 to 4 years only for the rooftop system which has been installed in residential sector with subsidy. For commercial, industrial, government sector, there is no need of subsidy because they are paying the electricity rate at a higher rate, and it's already attractive to them. One thing I want to mention here, why we are focusing the residential sector. I think all of you are aware that residential tariff that is being paid by the customer is on the lower side compared to the tariff that has been paid by the commercial or industrial. One residential sector beneficiary used to pay say 4 to 5 rupees per unit, but in commercial or industrial sector, they used to pay rupees say 10, 20, 14, 15 rupees per unit. So there is a huge difference. And why this? And the APPC price, that means the power purchase price, which the DISCOM used to buy from the NTPC or say from other non-renewable energy sources, is around rupees 3.5 to 11, 12, 13, 14 like that. That means when we are paying the residential sector as a residential sector, when we are paying less subsidized tariff to the DISCOMs, and that is being a loss to the DISCOM. That loss is being recovered by the DISCOM in the form of higher tariff in the commercial or industrial sector. That is called cross subsidize. So if we install more residential sector projects, then this cross subsidy amount will become low, and that will ultimately reduce the tariff of the commercial and industrial sector also. So that is one thing. So also second one, you can see the table. If you are installing a solar rooftop systems, your monthly EMI is either lower than the saving that you are getting from the rooftop systems or equivalent. If equivalent, you can see in the table, suppose you want to install a rooftop system and you don't have money, but you want to avail some bank money from the banks. Banks generally charges the loans at a MCLR rate. That means that is around, I think, 6.75 or 6.5 at present. Here it is 9 because it was before COVID, it was higher. The interest rate were higher, but due to COVID, the interest rate has come down. And that rate, at that rate, you just have to pay, say, 1,766 rupees against a 5 kilowatt system as EMI, for which you are getting a saving of rupees 27,000. Assuming that you are producing 4.5, sorry, you are producing say 4 units of electricity per day and 4.5 rupees tariff. If the tariff is higher, then there is also saving is more. In addition, suppose you have funds. Suppose you have 1 lakh rupees fund in your saving account or your fixed deposit. Okay, that interest rate is around, I think, 7 or 6 something %. But through this rooftop system, you can, if you invest, your payback is around 3 to 4 years. So that's a very lucrative solution for any customer to get the system installed. So that is in terms of the monetary benefit. In addition, there are non-monetary benefits which are hidden. First thing is that there is no requirement of any land. Land is very costly in all regions, in all cities throughout the country. And suppose someone is having enough land, also he is not going to install the rooftop system in the land, because he knows that after some year he will either sell that land or he will build some own structures, own buildings, and he will do some business. So by the way, there is no need of any land. Second thing is there is no requirement of any transmission or distribution infrastructure increase. Of course, there is some debate on this, because there are some hidden infrastructure cost, like transformer upgradation cost is involved in this. But more or less, there is no additional transmission cost. Third thing, all you are aware, there is no need of any weight to install the rooftop systems like the conventional hydro plants or conventional thermal plants. You can get the system installed within, say, 1 week to, say, 3-4 months, depending upon the size of the systems. And fourth, and the next thing is tail end voltage improvement. Of course, and the voltage level, as these are the systems which is providing power at the source. So these are basically high voltage systems are there. So there is no need of any tail end voltage improvement. So these are the things. And fourth, and the last thing is the benefits to the discoms. Suppose I install rooftop systems and I am generating, say, 4 units per day. Okay, so for the 4 units per day, the discom will be able to use it and get their RPO benefits to get fulfilled. So this is also a benefit to the customer, sorry, discoms. Now I will go to the potential part. How this target of, say, 42 gigawatt or say 100 gigawatt or 175 gigawatt has come. I will only limit my study on the rooftop part only. See, this target of 40 gigawatt has come from one estimate. That estimate tells us that there is a potential of around 42.83 gigawatt of rooftop in the country. That has been done by the one of our institute, National Institute of Solar Energy. That's one of our technical institute, and they have made some assumptions. What they have done, they have taken the census data of 2011. Okay, and from that census data, they have categorized certain types of buildings. say factory building, hospital building, okay, hotel, schools, shops, residential building, non-residential buildings. Like this, they have categorized some buildings types, and they have taken some formula that, say, suppose there are 100 factories, then out of that 100 to 20 factories are eligible for installing rooftop systems with 50 kilowatt size. So like that way, they have done all calculations, and they have estimated this 42.83 gigawatt of capacity. Of course, since it's a desktop exercise, I think this potential is going to be very high if we do some more study in this regard. Because another private study that has been done by Terry, it tells that about 123 gigawatt of rooftop potential is there. So that is almost 3 times. So this is how this rooftop target has been decided. And second thing is that, see, the installed capacity also. Again, 748.98 gigawatt of solar power, which is the potential of India. We have installed around 37.46 gigawatt as on December 2020. That means around, say, 5, I think how much percent? 5%. But for rooftop, you can see against this potential, we have already installed 3.73. So there is this penetration of rooftop in terms of numbers, in terms of gigawatts, in terms of percentage, is more than the conventional solar power. Of course, conventional solar power are of megawatt scales. They are big, and if someone install them at one location, that will give them, say, 20 megawatt, 100 megawatt, 300,000 megawatt, like this in solar power. But number wise and penetration wise, you can see the rooftop is leading. This is the slide which tells about the brief of the ongoing scheme. That means phase 2 of the rooftop solar program. Sir, as you can see, there are 2 components in this scheme. First component is subsidy. Second component is incentive. As a consumer, as a residential consumer, as a consumer of group housing society, I am interested for the part 1. That means residential sector subsidy with 4 gigawatt, with target of 4 gigawatt. For the, as a DISCOM, I am more interested on this incentive part. So there are 2 major stakeholders, that means beneficiary and the DISCOM, which are there, and their interest has to be fulfilled. Because if someone install rooftop systems in any of the distribution area, the distribution company incurred some losses. Okay, so there is some incentive provision that I will explain. First, I will explain the subsidy part. The subsidy is 40% for a rooftop system up to 3 kilowatt, and above 3 kilowatt, it is 20%. And above 10, there is no subsidy. Okay, suppose I have my own house, okay, then I can avail subsidy up to 10 kilowatt systems. If I am residing in some, say, in some colony which is having group housing society or RWA, then as a RWA, I can get 20% subsidy for systems up to 500 kilowatt. So that is clear. Second thing is, suppose as a consumer, I want to install more than 10 kilowatt. Suppose I want to install, say 15 kilowatt. I can install, there is no restriction. Only thing is that I will get subsidy up to 10 kilowatt. Okay, so this is the thing. And so this is the percentage. Now I will tell you the cost at which you will get the subsidy. Any projects of MNRE which is under phase 2 of the rooftop solar program has to be implemented through tenders. That means, since we are implementing the scheme through DISCOMs, DISCOM will do tender. They will finalize the rates. They will finalize the number of bidders, etc., and the completion timeline, etc. Any penalty, any EMD, anything, they will decide, and they will do these things through tender. Suppose our benchmark cost, which ministry used to give on every year, is, say, suppose for a 3 kilowatt system, say benchmark cost is, say, 40,000 rupees per kilowatt, and the rate that has been come is around, say, 32,000 per kilowatt. Then subsidy will be calculated at 40% of that 32,000. That means the MNRE benchmark cost or cost which has been described in the tender, whichever is lower. One thing is more, earlier people used to wait for the subsidies. That means I will suppose earlier I have installed one rooftop system. I will pay, if the system cost is 100 rupees, I will pay 100 rupees to the vendor. Okay, then I will get the subsidy from the state government or state nodal agency, like that. Earlier this system was there. Because of that, lots of applications we have found that is pending at MNRE or at state level. To minimize that, so that customer is not required to wait for subsidy, we have made the subsidy portion upfront. That means I don't have to pay whole 100 rupees for these systems. I have to pay only 60 rupees. Rest 40 rupees will be availed by the bidder from the discoms, and for discoms we will provide the advance. That means investment has come down, and also CFA is being provided at the time of, say, installation. So that is being done in this scheme of the phase 2. Third thing is that is very important, that is the domestic content requirement. Since we are providing subsidy, and we are providing subsidy to the residential sector, so we can put a condition of solar module and cell should be manufactured in India in this scheme. If the subsidy was for commercial or industrial sector, if it would have been, then we could not have put this condition because of WTO agreement that has been signed by the government of India. So we have limited these things. That means we have limited DCR for solar module and cell. Okay, earlier it was for solar module only. So, and so far we have allocated 2.99 gigawatt to various discoms, out of which about 0.47 gigawatt has been installed. Next point is the portals. Suppose I want to install rooftop solar systems, then how can I get the system installed? I don't have any knowledge. What I will do, I will just go to MNRE website. I will click the part solar rooftop calculator. Then through solar rooftop calculator, I can go to the link of every discoms, and where the online application process is there. That means and out of that 20 states has already developed, and for the rest states are developing. So people can get the system all installed through online applications in this way. Now I will go to the second part, that is more specific to the discoms. Through this scheme, we used to provide some incentive to the discoms. That means it's a little bit complicated formula. It's like suppose say APDCL. Suppose for APDCL, the installed capacity of rooftop solar in 31st March 2019 is 100 megawatt. Okay, and they have installed 30 megawatt in the financial year 1920. Okay, then they will be eligible for incentives. What is that incentives? They will get incentives for 20 megawatt capacity. How? Because incentive formula is like that. If the base capacity is 100 and we have that discom has achieved more than 10%, then they will get incentive. If it is in the range of 10% to 15%, they will get 5% incentive, and if it is above 15% achievement, then they will get 10% incentive. So the formula, if we apply the formula, so they will be able to get 20 megawatt systems incentives. That means for 5 megawatt, they will get at the rate of 5%, and for the remaining 15%, they will get at the rate of 10%. So these are the two to provision of the schemes. In addition, we have some option of service charges to the discoms and capacity building charges, and also these things are I'm not including here because these are very small amount. Now, while implementing the scheme, we have found many challenges. So to avoid those challenges, we expect that state government or discoms should adopt some common procedures. That means they have to submit the proposals to the ministry on regular basis. Our timeline for implementation of any project is 15 months. Suppose we have given some 5 megawatt sanction to APDCL, then APDCL has to complete that project within 15 months. If they don't do it within 15 months, then there will be some penalty in terms of service charges. That condition we have relaxed right now due to COVID, and we have given earlier 5 months extension for financial year 2021, and recently we have also given one extension for the systems which are going to be installed from the 1st April 2021 onwards. So they will also get some extension based on the COVID restrictions and also lockdown, then section 144 if it is imposed, and if there is any night curfew, then they will get some extension of 2-3 months. I think that has to be finalized. We have already got some request. In addition, I have already told that they have to do the tender part. Okay. In addition, they have to get some persons involved in the rooftop solar projects. That means they have to put some AE or XC at subdivision levels as a nodal officer for rooftop solar installation. If they don't do it, I think we may take a decision of non-release of, say, incentives to the discounts if they don't do it. So they have to do it. They have to develop some online portals. If they don't do it, then we will reduce some incentives. So like the way. So we have kept some restriction for the incentives. They have to do these works, otherwise they won't be get some these incentives. Now, if there is any question, then I can stop here, or I can continue.
Hiren, you continue. At the end, we will have the discussion.
Okay. Okay. So these are the basically the highlights of this scheme. Now, which was more specific to the subsidy part and to the incentive part. Now I will discuss some major practical issues that has been observed during the implementation of the phase 1 of the program, and which is still there. First issue is delay or multiple tenders. That means, suppose MNRE has sanctioned, say, 10 megawatt project to any discom. The timeline is 15 months. That discom may be not in a position to do the tender due to some of his limitations, or some of his non-technical expertise, or maybe due to some any other reason. So that ultimately leads to the delay in the whole project implementation period. In addition, suppose they have also asked, suppose we have already given 10 megawatt this financial year, and after 2 months they used to submit us, say, another 5 megawatt projects to us, and we have already given that 5 megawatt sanction also. So what happens? There are two parallel sanctions already there. 2 rates will be there. Customer will be confused under which scheme they have to apply. So this problem we have faced in earlier cases also. So right now we are not issuing any multiple sanctions. We first we used to take stock of all old sanctions which have been issued, and once they are there is any progress or they are in the end stage of the completion, then we used to sanction new projects. And one more problem that we have faced in tenders is that the technical expertise, for that we have what we have done, we have got some grants from the multilateral agencies like World Bank, ADB, GIZ, USAID, etc. So from that grant, okay, we have allocated few states. Suppose we have allocated say 17 states to the World Bank, 6 states to the GIZ, 7 states to the ADB. Okay, these organizations have done tender and they have selected some consultants which are providing technical support in terms of say bid process management, in terms of say online portal development, in terms of say capacity building, training, and in terms of say awareness creation, in terms of say some developments of some advertisement materials, etc., or in terms of some say pilot projects. Like one of the pilot project is like say PVT, we call it photovoltaic thermal. Then one project is like PV port that has been done by GIZ. So these are some of the things that we are doing parallelly to assist the state government to the to discoms. One more problem that we have faced is the PPA. PPA, as you all already know, PPA is power purchase agreement. It is specifically for the RESCO projects. Okay, and in this PPA, some rupees per unit tariff is being agreed by the two parties. That means the consumer and the project developer, which is third party, that they will pay, say, suppose 3 rupees per unit for 25 years, or they will pay say rupees 3 per unit for 10 years. Then there will be some escalation clauses, say 4 rupees for the next 10 years, like this. So so this PPA is basically a legal document, and it is it has to be honored. So what problem we faced during the signing of the PPA is that suppose Tezpur University, just I want to mention, it's like Tezpur University. Suppose there are some other universities also, say Assam University or say Guwahati Engineering College or something like that. So if Tezpur University or say Guwahati Engineering College has to sign the PPA, they have to follow some procedures. They have to follow the administrative procedure, and that administrative procedure includes approval from the Tezpur University administration as well as from the UGC or MHRD if it is there. So they will take some permissions. Due to this, there is a time lag, time gap, because of which our timelines of 15 months get affected. So that is one problem that we have faced. Another problem that we have faced is like that, suppose say there is some government building wherein say 4 to 5 different departments are there of defined ministry. Okay, and that building is being basically owned by say CPWD or PWD. Then who will sign the PPA? Who will be the beneficiary? So there is no decision making, or there is no common agreement in this regard, and people or officials hesitated to sign the PPAs. So these are the problems that we have faced. So to sort out this issue, we had one meeting with all ministries in the cabinet secretariat in 2016, and wherein it was decided that MNRE will develop one model power purchase agreement, okay, one capex agreement, and one model MOU, which has to be vetted by the Ministry of Law and Ministry of Finance. So MNRE has developed, MNRE has get it vetted through the Ministry of Law and Ministry of Finance, and MNRE has circulated this PPA to various ministries to further circulate to their concerned departments. And after that, this process somehow gets smoothened. And also in the tender document, also SECI included the PPAs or draft PPAs. So somehow this problem we have tried to rectify. Then third major problem that we have faced is the lack of awareness. As a consumer, I don't know where can I get the system installed. I want to install, but I have to take approval of say discoms. I have to avail the subsidy from the state nodal agency. I have to take the approval of the CEIG. How the everything could be smoothed. So people are not aware, and people are also not aware that what benefit I will get. Is it worthy at that time? Because at the time the system costs were around 70,000 per kilowatt to say 60,000 per kilowatt, but right now it is say for 40,000 or 32,000, like that. So it's almost say for 40%, sorry, 60% of the price which was there in 2016-17. So people are not aware. So there is a very strong need of advertisement and awareness campaigns, which is still required. Because you can see due to you can get the example of the COVID itself, because all the news channels, all the papers have advertised it so much that people become aware of COVID helpline, then what are the remedies that they have to do, everything. Then some portal has been developed, COVID developed, vaccination drive has been done. So it was through some awareness. If that awareness campaign has not been initiated, then I think there would have been some problem, more problem. Like this, suppose we give popularity to the rooftops scheme or rooftop systems through massive advertisement in the form of, say, suppose that video I have seen for Tezpur University, like that video. That was, I think, 8-minute video. We can shorten it if you want also. So like this, and also say for the customer, I'm getting electricity bill. If I got some advertisement or some information related to the rooftop system in the bill itself, that how can I apply for rooftop system, what will be my cost, and who will install the meters, everything will be cleared. So these things, if some common awareness is being generated, then people will install the rooftop systems. And of course, the last thing that I have already told, that revenue loss of DISCOM in terms of cross subsidy. Okay. Then fifth problem that we have faced is related to the regulatory mechanism. See, in this electricity subject is basically a compliance subject. So the regulation, that means how much rooftop systems I can get installed in my own house, is being controlled by the state regulators or notification. There are state regulators, there are joint regulators. Joint Electricity Regulatory Commission basically deals with the UTs and Goa, and State Electricity Regulatory Commission basically deals with the states, rest of the states. So they have their own norms for this rooftop system which can be installed. Yeah, I think for the Tezpur University project also we have faced this problem earlier. Earlier it was, I think there was a limit of, say, 40% of the connected load, which has been increased by, say, 80%. 80%. So due to which I think that system was able to get installed. So like this, there are a number of state regulations. And also there is one more thing that has recently come out, is the right of consumer rules. So what happened earlier, the rooftop systems in most of the states were being able to get the net metering, say 500 kilowatt, or say for 1 megawatt, like Tezpur University, or say in some states, say Delhi, or I think Delhi. In Delhi there is no limitation. So people can get the system installed more than 1 megawatt also in Delhi. So it was there. But right now, in December 2021, rule has been come from the Ministry of Power that net metering is to be done for 10 kilowatt. And beyond 10 kilowatt, they can get the rooftop system installed in gross metering mechanism. So against this, there are lots of representation that we have received from various stakeholders. And the ministry also have given their comments to the Ministry of Power that this limitation of 10 kilowatt has to be removed at the earliest. Otherwise, the installations are going to be affected very much. So that representation we have already given to the Ministry of Power. These are some of the rates, statewide rates curve that has been discovered. So you can see the present tenders rates were around, say, for Gujarat, it is around, minimum rate is around, say, 32,000, and maximum rate is around 43,000 or 44,000. Like it is like that. So rates is very decreasing in most of the states except Andaman Nicobar, of course. Andaman Nicobar being an island, and there are lots of other issues, so their rate is higher. And also the higher rates are there for Mizoram and Uttarakhand. Uttarakhand being hilly region, but rates in Assam is quite okay. You can see it is around 43 or 44, like that. And Gujarat is very less. So the leading player in rooftop phase 2 program is Gujarat. They have installed more than 500 megawatt, more than 450 megawatt under phase 2. And I think most of our funds are going to be disbursed to Gujarat this financial year. This is the thing that I was talking about, state-wise limits of regulations. I'm not going to describe each state-wise, but just I want to mention that there are changes in the regulations. That means for anyone can install rooftop system of up to 500 kilowatt in Goa. But for Andhra Pradesh, it is 1 megawatt. They can install 1 megawatt, Assam 1 megawatt. Okay, in Bihar, Chhattisgarh, or in Delhi, there is no limit. You can install more than that. Yeah, in Bihar, there is a limit of say sanction loan. That means suppose someone is having a connected load of say 1 megawatt, they can get the system installed through net metering up to 1 megawatt. But for the suppose they want to install more, then they have to do what they have to do. Either they have to increase their connected load, or they have to do it through some other mechanism like gross metering or net metering, like that. So there is no restriction of installation of rooftop system in terms of capacity. It is only restriction of net metering. Okay, that has to be understood. Again, you can see there are few states which is giving some funds for excess generation of rooftop solar power. This surplus power is being say some fund is given by the discoms or for state governments to the consumer for Goa, Chhattisgarh, Gujarat, Himachal Pradesh, Karnataka, Kerala, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Manipur, Mizoram, Delhi. So they will get some say funds from this discoms in case of any excess generation in the financial year. But in other cases, say for Meghalaya, then for Bihar, there is no such surplus power. So you can see that also. Also, you can also see from this table that there are some states which are already giving net metering and gross metering both, which are allowing net metering and gross metering both. And also there are few states which are not allowing net metering also. So you can see UP is allowing net metering only for domestic and agriculture sector. For commercial, industrial, or say government sector, they are not allowing the net metering. And for West Bengal, they are allowing net metering, but that is up to only 5 kilowatt. So beyond 5 kilowatt, they have to either go for net billing or feed-in. In the similar way for Tamil Nadu, they are not allowing any net metering. Okay, so you can see no. However, net feed-in is available for LT consumer. That means they are giving net feed-in available. So what is net metering? What is gross metering? What is net feed-in? I have already told. So of course, in some countries, net feed-in is very popular, say Germany or in Germany, I think, and in US it is net metering. But in India, net feed-in is not much popular because of the tariff. The tariff that has been decided by the regulatory commissions is very low. It is either it's like suppose I can give you one example where it is. Yeah, say suppose in case of Chhattisgarh. So what in Chhattisgarh, what is there? They are not giving any APPC rates to the excess generation. They are only giving say some tariff of 2.45 rupees, which has been discovered by SECI in some megawatt scale projects. So it's like that. So there is no uniformity in terms of any rate in terms of this excess generation. That is one of the problem. So these are the things. But since we are ministry and the regulators are basically out of different view, so we cannot interfere in that area directly. But that can be done through some petitions or etc. So these are the things that are related to the regulations. Then I have already told. Then one problem is how the losses of discoms can be reduced. There are many ways that the losses of discoms can be reduced. Say net billing. Net billing is a good option. Suppose I want to install 1 megawatt systems and say for 500 kilowatt system, my system will be net metering, and for rest 500 kilowatt, it will be net billing. So what benefit it will give? It will give the discom some flexibility in terms of the prices. Then second thing is, if we I have already told, if we install say solar rooftop system in residential sector, then cross subsidy amount will be less, and Discom will be able to avoid some losses. Then third thing is time of day tariff. Then fourth thing is incentives which we are already providing to the Discoms. Then fifth one is very interesting. You can see there are lots of Discoms which have signed power purchase agreements for conventional powers, which say NTPC or which say NHPC or any other say power producers. So many are at the last stages of their expiry. So they can review their PPA and they can see whether they are going to sign it again or they are going to make solar PPAs for these things. So they can think of it in this way. We can promote the rooftop, and also the losses of the Discom can be minimized, because at present the APPC prices and this solar prices are at par. Then third thing is demand size management. Then next is demand size management. Already I think people from energy efficiency can explain this is better way. Then another thing is creation of demands through alternate means such as electric vehicles. Then another is strict RPO compliance. So these are some of the things that can be done to avoid the Discoms losses. Then what initiatives? How much time, sir, I have?
You can
Okay.
take 10 minutes.
Okay. Check it. I think in 10 minutes I can finish.
Okay.
So these are some other initiatives that we are taking. CFA I have already told. Then technical support I have already told. Model power purchase agreement already told. Portal I have already told. Then next fifth point is the concessional loans. Now I want to highlight these things because see, if we want to install rooftop solar system, then we need some fundings. Fundings from can be from the Indian banks or Indian financial institution, or it can be some multilateral funds, because multilateral funds are available. India being the member of these multilateral banks, so these funds are available. But and this rate is also very say cheap. Say suppose I will give you just small example. Suppose World Bank is giving some loan to SBI. They are giving loan to SBI in two different ways. One is they call IBRD, International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, like that, and another is CTF, Clean Technology Fund. These two funds are basically long-term funds. One is for 25 years and one is for 40 years. So their repayment period is say 25 to 40 years. It's a very long-term loan, and the interest rate is very low. I don't remember the interest rate of the IBRD, but the interest rate of CTF is very less. It is 0.25% only, and that interest is of course inclusive of the principal loan amount plus interest. So it is very less. But to avail this loan by the banks and from Indian banks, and after that by Indian banks to the say project developer, there is little bit of charges which basically increases the overall pricing of the loan. I will give you just small example. I think where people from financial background will be more conversant with this. They can explain it better, but I will just highlight few points. Suppose I am availing a loan of CTF from World Bank. As suppose I am SBI. Okay, my interest rate is 0.25. With that interest rate, there is some charges called commitment charges. That charges is around say 0.18. Okay. So 0.25 plus 0.18. So it has become 0.43. Plus there are some charges which we call hedging charges. What is hedging? This World Bank is going to give me loan in terms of dollars. I will disburse that dollars to rupees to the borrowers. Okay. Then I will again say repay World Bank in terms of dollars. And the period is say to 20 years to 40 years. So there is a very long period, and there is very fluctuation of dollar versus rupees. Okay, to avoid any damages or any overpricing due to this variation in prices. So every multilateral loan is likely to be hedged. So that hedging rate, I think it is around 5 to 6%. So suppose it is 5%. So that interest, then interest has become 5 plus 0.43. That means 5.43 it has become. Okay. After that, another component comes, the government guarantee fee. So what is government guarantee fee? As per general financial rule, any central sector PSU, including banks, has, if wants to avail the say loan, they have to be granted by the Government of India. Government of India here means the DA, Department of Economic Affairs. So DA used to give some guarantee to the World Bank or to the other multilateral banks that okay, this say SBI is our PSU or something like that, and we have guaranteed that loan. So for that, for giving that guarantee, basically some guarantee fee has to be paid by these banks or these Indian banks. So that fees is around 1.2%. So 5.4 plus 1.2. So that figure has become now 6.6. Okay. Then there are some charges that will be borne by the bank because they are doing their financial transaction, they are involving their manpower, they are using their branches, they are popularizing it. So there are some also charges. So generally it is around 1.5 to 2%. So like the way this portion gets increases, and it becomes at around say 9 to 10% per interest rate becomes 9 to 10%. So at present, the Indian government banks are providing loans at priority sector lending at say MCLR, which is around 6.7 or 7 like that. So no one is interested to avail these loans. So at present, but earlier it was at par. So how we can decrease that rate? There is one thing called if Government of India agrees, then they can waive off or they can reduce the guarantee fee amount. Suppose from the interest rate of 9, we have reduced the guarantee fee amount of 1.2. Then the interest rate becomes 7.8. So at 7.8, I think it's a good interest rate, and any financier can, I think, can avail that loan. So like the way. So there are. I just wanted to mention that there are lots of funding available. Only we have to see how it could be make more attractive to the consumer by way of say reduction of guarantee fee, or by reduction of some commitment fee, or reduction of some say service charges like that. So these things I just wanted to mention. Presently there are two loans which is undergoing. One is SBI World Bank, one is ADB PNB. That loan amount is around 620 million, and another one is 500 million. That these two loans are for basically for commercial and industrial sectors. In addition, there are two more loans are in pipeline. That is for residential sector through World Bank. That is around 245 million, and one sector for one loan is under pipeline for MSMEs. It is around 200 million. So these things we are taking care of to make the financials available to the say project developers. Then next 6 point is priority sector lending. So or home loan. So rooftop systems are covered under home loan category or priority sector lending category, where MCLR is where anyone has to pay at MCLR. You can see the guidelines of this in the RBI website. Then seventh thing is like that it is innovative business model. Few states like Kerala, then Andhra Pradesh, Chandigarh, they are and MP, they are doing some innovative things. Things are like that. Suppose I want to install rooftop solar systems. What I do, either I used to get the system installed through my own fund, or get the system installed through say some third party. They have developed some other model called utility model. Here utility means this discoms. Here discoms invest from their own funds, or discoms arranges some resco companies. Then these resco companies or discom gets the system installed in the houses, and for that they either used to get some either they used to give some concession to the customer if they provide the roof, or they charges at lower rate, or they charges at as per bill. So there are n number of mechanisms that is being tried. Of course, they need the approval of regulators. So these are being done. For Chandigarh, the approval is pending. For Andhra Pradesh, approval has already been done, and Kerala also approval has already been done. So in Andhra Pradesh and in Kerala, system are likely to be installed through utility-led business model also. So that is one thing. Then one thing is MP. I want to mention specifically for government sector. What they have done, they have done full survey of their government buildings. Full survey. Full survey means not only online survey. They have gone to the sites and they have done Google survey, mapping survey, etc. And they have put all these datas and they have done shadow analysis or say simulation they have done for every building, and they have put these datas in some data room, and they have floated tender. And through the tender, they were able to achieve say tariff of rupees 1.38. Of course, that 1.38 tariff includes the CF incentive of MNRE and state government subsidy also. But they were able. I think in Tezpur, what is the tariff, sir?
2.42.
2.42 with 60% incentive. But here they were able to get the tariff of 1.38 at say 25% incentive plus state 20%. That means at 45%. Of course, that is for some special category of building. They have all, because some category of building have got this 1.38. Some category has got higher than this, depending on the type of organization. Say it's government or central government or say state government. Is it school or is it some financing PSU, etc. So they have categorized this. But I just wanted to mention that if we do the demand aggregation like this, then cost is definitely likely to get reduced, and we may get good tariff in the bidding. Then standard operating procedure, that is okay. I can avoid state notification. I have already discussed. In addition, sir, there are few states like Chandigarh, Haryana, UP, Delhi, and also Jharkhand. They have what they have done. They have made mandatory rooftop installation for buildings above certain built-up area. I think that figure is I think 500 square meter. Yeah, like that. They have installed some. Sorry, they have made some mandatory rooftop installation, and in terms of plot area, and also in terms of size of the connected load. Suppose someone is having say 1 megawatt of connected load, then for certain capacity they have to install the rooftop systems like that. So these 4-5 states has done mandatory installation, mandatory notification for installation of solar rooftop. And in addition, as we all already know, basically the architect will know, there are some model building bylaws. So in that model building bylaws, this rooftop has been included. Rooftop chapter is there, and the rooftop system has been included in the model building bylaws. Of course, that is this model building bylaws is a advisory kind. Based on this, states has to develop their own building bylaws, but it has been developed by the central level. So these are the, and then I think capex model. This model I have already told. TA things I have already done. These are some of the things. These are some of the pictures. You can see that in metros, in schools, the rooftop system has been installed, and also there you can see the third one. This one. This is a called PV port system. You can see. This is a structure where there are benches, and below that benches there are battery banks, and so, battery banks could be lithium ion, or that could be say other battery also. So based on that, the pricing is different, but they have developed some system called PV port, and it is portable system. No need to get your system say installed in conventional way. You can just make it as per your wish. So these are the things, and you can also see the structure of the panels. They have made V-shaped to avoid the wind load. So these are some of the advertisement materials. These are the things, and rest things I am not going to discuss because these are related to some financial things. If anybody is there who wants to say avail subsidy from MNRE, any government agency or any discom, then they have this is for them. So I'm going to avoid this. So this is the overall presentation, sir. I think I've given a brief of my things I have tried, but any question, any suggestion from our participant will be